Hey everybody, it's Kay. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday Reads. It is daylight saving time. We had some serious storms come through here, but the sun is shining. It's very beautiful, and I'm just happy today. I am going to talk first about March Mystery Madness, and then I'm going to do the DNF tag. I was tagged by Kenya from Reviews May Vary. I'm going to put her information down in the box below, as well as the original video for this particular tag. I figured I'd just do everything together, one big video, okay? So let's start with March Mystery Madness. So as you recall, in my March Mystery Madness intro video, I hauled a stack of books like this, right? Not a TBR, but a haul, because y'all know I'm a mood reader and I change my mind. Not only that, but a lot of the books I had checked out were 14-day books, and I'm a slow reader. And I tried to renew the books, and a lot of them were on reserve from someone else, and I couldn't renew them. So I ended up taking a bunch of those back to the library, but I did get through a couple of books, and I'll talk about them now. The first one, I used the title prompt for March Mystery Madness Single, and I used it as single word title, and the book was Safe by S.K. Barnett. That book was very good. It was about the young girl who was 6 years old, who was walking to her friend's house and then disappeared. She never showed up. 12 years later, here she is. And she's trying to reacquaint herself with her family, and she starts getting these ominous, anonymous messages from someone saying, "You may not be safe in that house." So I really did like the book. I like the anticipation and the anxiety leading up to the climax of the book. And then I felt like the author let me down. And I was so disappointed. I was like, really? You get us to the climax and this is what you do with the story? I was over it. The last 25 pages could have been so much better. I felt like the ending was rushed. And I felt like the very end, the author, wrapped it up with a ribbon, tied it with a bow, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I would still give the book about 3.5 stars just for the build up, for the writing, for the characters, for the setting, for all of those components. But the end. Anyway, the next book that I finished was Dark Highway by Lisa Gray, and that prompt was title read. I picked out the book because I liked the title, and I liked the cover of that book too. But this story is about a detective named Jessica Shaw and her boss, Matt Connor. They are hired by a family to find out what's happened to their daughter who has gone missing. And in investigating what's happened with their daughter, they've realized that there are other women who've gone missing also on this long stretch of highway in the desert. The women don't seem to have any type of connection whatsoever, but Matt and Jessica put together all of these pieces to find out these women are connected. And the way they're connected is very surprising. And there are a lot of characters in this book and lots of points of view. However, she does a really good job in writing the story and taking you through the minds and the activities through all of these different people. But she writes it in a way that you can keep the characters straight, even though there's so many of them. There are flashbacks in the story, and a lot of times I don't like flashbacks, but if it's written well, it's great. And she does a really good job with her time jumping throughout the novel. So I highly recommend Dark Highway. I just thought it was everything a thriller should be. Short chapters, fast-paced, likable characters, and just overall a good story. I started this one, They All Fall Down by Rachel Halsell Hall. Unfortunately, though, and I don't know what it was, but I just could not connect to this book. I don't know if it was the way it was written, the characters, the protagonists, but I didn't get very far in this book. So I thought, let me try it on audiobook. So I checked out the audiobook from the library because sometimes for me, the audiobook makes a difference. In this case, unfortunately, it didn't. I still could not get into this book. So I DNF'd it. And I heard that her detective series is really, really good. And so I want to try that one out to see how, how things go with that one. This book just didn't work for me. And finally, I have Always Watching by Chevy Stevens. This was one I showed, and someone pointed out to me that I could use always as the prompt for time. Because this one is not a new release, I know it's not in high demand right now. So I'm going to just wait and check this out from the library much later and go back and read it because I like Chevy Stevens. I like her writing. I wish this was on audiobook. I listened to several of her other books on audio, but I'll just check this one out later. I'm not going to try to rush to get it done for this month, especially because while I was at the library, I couldn't help but peruse the shelves. And so I saw this book, I saw the cover, and I thought, please let this be a mystery because it would be great for March Mystery Madness. It fits the prompt, and it is Sleep Well, My Lady by Kwei Quartey. And yes, it is a mystery. So it fits the prompt person for My Lady. The story takes place in Ghana. And there's a fashion designer named Lady Araba. And Lady Araba is murdered. But the question is, who did it? Is it her alcoholic married boyfriend, Augustus Caesar? Is it his wife? Is it Lady Araba's security, her chauffeur, her landscaper? Is it someone in her boyfriend's family because they hate her? Is it someone in her family because people act crazy when it comes to money, don't they? I'm really enjoying this read. It captured me from the very beginning. And I went on Instagram to follow the author. And as soon as I followed him, he followed me back and then he messaged me and he said, hey, would you like a review copy of my book, Sleep Well, My Lady, or The Missing American? And I said, well, I'm already reading Sleep Well, My Lady. I checked it out from the library, but I would like The Missing American. And within like 2 or 3 days, I got the book from him. Not only did he send it, but it is an autographed copy. So thank you, Kwei Quartey, for this review copy of this book. If I'm enjoying this one, I'm really hoping I'll enjoy this one too. So I really appreciate that he sent this to me. Okay, now let's get to the DNF tag. Thank you, Kenya, again for tagging me. So here we go. Do you DNF? Absolutely. And I don't feel guilty about it. I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not ashamed. Yes, I would DNF. Do you DNF? If you DNF a book, does it count toward books read for the month? I personally don't count it as a book read if I didn't finish it. That's just me. Is there a difference between DNF and just putting it down for a bit? For me, it is, yeah. For example, Some Sing, Some Cry. I fully intend to finish that book. I put it down for a bit for March Mystery Madness because I told you all this is one of my favorite events in the book community, so I wanted to give my focus on thrillers and mysteries at this time. What popular book have you DNF'd? I really don't know what popular book I've DNF'd. Like a really popular book, I would probably say it would have been one of Toni Morrison's, like a Love or a Mercy, maybe one of those, but I really can't recall anything I really DNF'd as of late, besides, this one over here. What book do you wish you had DNF'd? Oh, that's easy. Fall of the Saints. This was one of the worst books I have ever read, ever. I I had to gauge myself. I went to Goodreads to see what other people were thinking about this book. It has a rating of like 2.66. And so many people ripped the book to shreds. Horrible. I could have been doing so much else with that time I spent with that book. Why didn't I finish it? Why did I finish it, you may ask? I was rooting for it to get better. Only it never did. And then it was over. So, you know how you spend so much of your time, you invest so much of your time in the book, you're like, well, now I got to see it to the end. I wish I had DNF'd it. Let me just put it that way. Do you ever attempt to reread a DNF? Has this ever been successful for you? Off the top of my head right now, I can't think of one. I really can't, because a lot of times if I DNF, I'm done with it, you know? Do you choose? No, excuse me. What do you do with books you DNF? The good news is a lot of the books that I DNF tend to come from the library, so I simply take them back. If I buy a book and I'm disappointed and I don't finish it, usually, if I have no intention on finishing it, let's be clear, there's some books that, yes, you do put down for a bit, but the ones I absolutely know, I am not going to finish this book. Those are the books I either donate to the Literacy Association or sell away at a yard sale or something like that. That's what I usually do with those. Do you choose books more or less? Do you choose more or less risky titles because of your stance on DNF? I don't think a title has much of an impact on whether or not I choose to DNF a book. Either I like it or I don't, but I don't say, oh, look at this title, I probably won't finish it. I don't really do that. So I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. It's nice and warm here in the South, so I'm hoping I can get out and get some walking in, get some fresh air. Until next time, everybody, keep reading. Take care. Bye-bye.